what is up, and welcome back to another installment of the Rufus Rundown podcast. It is your boy Rufus. We're back with another episode. Trying to return to a Tuesday, Friday schedule. Been a little hectic the last couple weeks, but trying to stream more, trying to put out more content. I think Tuesday, Friday is going to be the best bet, and I still want to bring on a couple of guests, so that's going to definitely be the move going forward. So like I said, Tuesday, Friday, the 3 week I'm not going to be doing. I'm going to be doing the 2 week. The 2 weeks going to work better for everybody because it's going to be better content and just more consistent content for me. So Tuesday, Friday is going to be that new schedule. This one's going to be a brief one. It's not going to be the normal hour that I do. It's probably going to be about a half hour or so. I just want to touch on a couple of things before I get into, the next week stuff. And I might even just do a Super Bowl live stream Saturday too, like before, like a pregame live stream. I'm going to touch on it now. Literally 3 topics I want to touch on in this one before we move into next week and stuff. And I really get into some NBA and such too. NHL I'd love to get into too, but I just don't watch enough hockey. I really don't. I wish I could watch more, and I used to really watch a lot of hockey. I just don't watch that much hockey anymore. I don't know why, but it's not my thing. Not the thing that I do. So the NHL maybe eventually we'll get into. I don't know. I don't want to talk about something I don't really watch, and I don't want to talk about something I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't know what to talk about a lot when it comes to hockey. I really don't. I'll admit to that. But that'll be a bridge we cross when we get there. Today we got the Stafford Goff trade. We have the Nolan Arenado trade to the Cardinals. Both of those were headliner news. Big things, big moves. Absolutely team transforming moves. It's just out there. Obviously, just big deal. And then obviously Super Bowl 55 too. I need to get my predictions. I have to look up some prop bets as well too. Make some people some money. But obviously. We'll get into the ad reads. Vins Organics, you're obviously overpaying for your CBD oils, your CBD gummies, whatever it may be. But how do you feel better? How do you get rid of that pain? How do you want to stop paying that price? Well, Vins Organics, natural herbal blend, smells good, feels good, gives you a little tingle, and you're good to go. Like, bruises, remove a huge bruise on my arm over the summer. I know he has a tattoo rub-on thing as well to help with like tattoo, like an ointment or something like that. He has a couple different products that would be really helpful to people that might have enjoyed their CBD but don't want to pay the price for the CBD that they did. Well, Vins Organics is a much more affordable product for you, and I think it works better. I mean, personally, having used both, I think that Vins Organics is definitely the way to go in terms of joints, soreness, bruises, anything like that. I think Vins Organics is the way to go. And then obviously, like I said, Ethan Souza Design. Let's get creative. You can see it down there in the bottom, I think it's the right corner. It's right for me. It's probably right for you. It might be. It might be bottom left. No. I don't think this gets inverted. I think it shows me the right way, right? At least from memory. I don't know. Somewhere on that screen it says Ethan Souza Design. Let's get creative. All that information obviously will be in my bio as usual. For all your graphic design needs. I just pointed one of my friends who's starting up one of his own YouTube, his TikTok, Dom Abraham, who I had brought on the podcast way back in the day. I think back during the beginning stages of the pod. I don't even know if any of those episodes are still up. I brought him back in the day, and he's starting up his own little thing, and he hit me up for some logo design for Ethan Souza. So he is the guy if you need any type of graphic design and such done. So if you want to head over to him, his information is going to be in the bio as well. And he needs some I think he picked up a sponsor for his race car, or he's picking up a sponsor again. I still want to bring on Ethan too, so I'll be able to ask him all these questions too, and we'll know for sure. So we'll save all that for the questions and for the info for when we do bring Ethan onto the show. But without further ado, let's get into it. The Stafford and Goff trade, which I'd say I have to take back everything I said about Goff and McVay and the overreaction, because people were pretty much spot on. We may not with that, maybe not in terms of the character, but like in terms of like the player that he was. Everybody was, I guess people. I mean, then again, people have sources. I don't have sources. I just watch. I don't have sources. People might have sources and be like, hey, Goff and McVay, no bueno, no good. I don't have that. I don't have that opportunity. I don't have that ability to have insider sources telling me that Jared Goff and Sean McVay are not on good terms. I don't have that. I mean, they had the text leak from the team group chat that Goff said that he would bang Sean's girlfriend. I mean, there was that, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where the relationship fell apart. That was a thing. His work ethic was questioned. The GM outwardly came out and said, like, it's not impossible to move Jared's contract, which was basically saying we are actively trying to move Jared's contract. Like, it was like, oh, it's not impossible to move all that money that we just gave him. All the guaranteed money is going to be off his deal anyway, like, so we can move him around as we please. And I was like, wow, that's just outward. That's out there. That's out there. That was basically just either put up or shut up, or we're just trying to move you, which was, we were trying to move you because they moved him. And they, like, that was the thing. Like, I think, like, all the deals that would have been for Stafford were pretty big asking deals. But, I mean, like, the ability to get a quarterback in return in Jared Goff. I mean, the new GM over there, Holmes, for the Lions, obviously worked with the Rams for a period of time, so maybe he sees something in Goff, or maybe he's willing to take a chance on him at least, because they were willing to move on from Stafford as it was anyways. That's a new coaching staff and everything. I think a lot of, and I said it before, I think a lot of Jared Goff's ability, I think a lot of Jared Goff's numbers, a lot of his success has really come secondhandly through Sean McVay. I mean, he still has to make the throws, but I think a lot of the play design and play calling, because he's not really a multiple read quarterback. He was a run one read, and that's it. I mean, he became more of a progressionary quarterback when he hurt his thumb, but I really never saw him as, like, a complete quarterback. Not yet, at least. I thought he was on his way to doing it. I thought he was making the strides, but if he's not working under Sean McVay, I really don't see him being able to become that. And the work ethic was being questioned. Maybe that was some of the case, or they really tarnished a lot of the reports before he got traded. I think the team leaked a lot of stuff. I think the team leaked a lot of stuff as to, like, to defend why they were trying to trade him, which made no sense to me because, but then again, that was media sources saying that. Like, why would you tank his trade value at the same time? But, like, maybe they just had that up because they were willing to give up those first round picks anyways. Which I don't know why you panic for giving up those first round picks. Are you going to find a quarterback in your pick range? Because this is a playoff team with Jared Goff, with John Wolford, with Matthew Stafford. That was the other thing too. The thing that we have a quarterback competition was basically just the tears of the quarterback having open competition, building it down, just tarnishing his name, and then eventually trading for Stafford. Like it broke down very fast. It broke down very quick for Jared Goff and the Rams. Out of nowhere. I mean, for a guy who was playing through the injury in the postseason, where I had gained a lot of respect for this man. I had gained a lot of respect for Jared Goff, a lot of respect for Sean McVay and what they were able to do, even with him being banged up, and the team that they built, like, defensively, and offensively too. There's a lot of weapons, but I don't have sources. I don't have the behind the scenes look. I can only see as much as you guys. The day that I get sources is the day that I don't even know. I have inside sources. It's going to be a great, great time in my life. But that's just not right now. That's just not a thing. I don't have those, and I can't access those. So from what I saw to what people know is a totally different thing, especially if I'm not Ian Rappaport. I can't work like that. I mean, I'd love to be. I would love to have a gig like that. I just don't have the access that those guys have. But yeah, the Goff signing that big 4-year, $130 million extension. They send 2 future firsts and a third-round pick this year and 2 future firsts the next 2 years. I don't know why you're panicking because this is a straight-up Super Bowl contender, even, I thought, with Goff at quarterback. They're releasing the conversation to make some noise in the NFC. With Stafford, absolutely a Super Bowl contender because you have a legitimate vertical passing threat. Stafford's a great quarterback. He's been beat up time and time again in Detroit. Like, they can protect him in St. Louis, and they have one of the most creative play callers in the NFL, or at least that I've seen my life in Sean McVay. So it's going to bode well for Stafford. That's not even a conversation to have. Like, I think he's going to adapt pretty well. I think McVay's a big fan of him. But the people panicking about the first round picks, like, are you going to find a quarterback in that range ever? I mean, like, Tom Brady's not walking to the door. You're not grabbing a 6th round pick or Dak Prescott in the 4th round. Like, that's few and far between. You know you can get Stafford now for that price, and you're not going to. And in those 2 first round picks, you're not going to draft a quarterback like Matt Stafford. You're not. Like, Trevor Lawrence, yeah, that's cool, but you have to have the number 1 overall pick, and you'd have to sell your soul in vital organs, and probably even, like, a limb and skin to all of the, like, if your entire organization to trade up to that first round pick. Like, there's no, why, no, they wouldn't even give it up. No one would give it up. They're trying to draft Trevor Lawrence. Although it would not surprise me if the Jaguars decided to take, like, Zach Wilson or something first, because that's logic. I'm sure that there's this conversation about, which I'll touch upon once we get closer to the draft, because, like, I'm absolutely sold on Trevor Lawrence, but there is one little thing that I have an issue with Trevor Lawrence that I think should matter. I mean, it should be talked about at least, but like I said, I'm not gonna touch on that now. to focus on this trade now is that, I mean, I don't think if you're the Rams, you panic about those first-round picks. You can always move up a couple second-rounders. You can always trade, like, certain players that, you know, in the receiver core especially, you can make moves with, because Van Jefferson's looking pretty good. So, I mean, there's moves that this team can make, you know, to improve even without first-round picks, because you're not going to find a quarterback like Stafford in those first rounds where you're in your pick range. You're not going to do it for the value that they give up, too. Like, you knew you were going to have, even if you got traded for Stafford, you knew you were going to have to get rid of Goff, and you were able to get rid of him in the same deal. And that was probably what made the Lions make the move, know that they have a quarterback that they can at least work with, you know, that might really pan out in something. He's a former number 1 overall pick. I mean, the ceiling's there. It's getting him to that ceiling, and maybe, you know, the trades are kicking, you know what I'm saying? Like, when the Bruins traded Tyler Seguin, there's certain trades of players in history that, while people are like, oh, how'd they not hold on to him? Well, it's like, they never would have turned into the player that they did had they not been traded. They never would have been that player with that team anyway. So, as much as you would have loved to have seen him play that way for you, like, there was just mentally a block there that just had to be taken care of, and that a trade was the only thing that would change that. And this might be one of those situations. It looks like it, you know. Jared Goff could absolutely go and dominate in Detroit, but he never would have done it in I keep saying St. Louis. He never would have done it in LA. He never would have done it for the Rams because there was something mentally there in between him and Sean. You know what I'm saying? There's just no connect. There's certain things behind the scenes that go on that there's a block there. There's a block there of his potential. He might see it now as, I have to do this, or might be more determined. He might have more. They have more of a drive to compete, and that's fine. I mean, you like your number 1 overall pick. If you take number 1 overall to be a pretty driven person, he might not have been, but he might be now. I mean, I don't know. It's worth the shot if there's no guaranteed money. So I mean, the Lions don't, if they were willing to move on from Stafford anyways, for a former number 1 overall quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl, and you give him a kick in the pants, and maybe he decides he wants to, you know, work harder than he's ever worked before. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but. It seemed like he was pretty apt to get out of LA too, with all the stuff that they were leaking out there, whether it be true or not, you know, to defend their actions. So, I guess the time will tell this one. I think the Rams do win out with this one because, I mean, but then again, it's new Lions front office. It might not be neither team might have lost this trade. I mean, I really don't think it's a bad trade for either side if you're willing to move on for Stafford, because you can't protect him, you know. But they still got to pay off that money, but at the same time. It's only the guaranteed money this year, and then the rest of it is not guaranteed, so they can cut him loose whenever that may be. So if it's a makes it prove it year, you can sign elsewhere, you can sign there, whatever. You know, you're going to get, I think you should get, knowing that he could be cut from that deal, you'll probably get a lot of, at least effort and production out of Goff. You know, he's not just staying in LA because they have to find a new quarterback. Like, they took a shot. Like, I think a lot of teams have noticed now, since Tom Brady made the move to Tampa Bay, that you need to take a shot. Like, if you can take a shot at a really good quarterback, you take shots now. You know, it's not the, you know, 1 year that can change totally the image of a franchise, you know, so don't wait around. And that's exactly what the Rams did. I mean, the Rams said, like, I don't think they saw him as a future quarterback. I don't think they saw him as the number 1 overall pick guy that they drafted, so they said, we're moving on. And they did it very quickly, and they did it concisely. I mean, all the credit to him. All the credit to him. I think like I said, a lot of these teams are making these just quick moves at the quarterback position, and you know, and knowing that, like, there's a window here. They have their window, but they need a quarterback. And they're making these moves, which is impressive. I think being able to notice that and analyze that and take the shot in that is a big thing. And the Rams are in a pretty damn good position out there in the NFC West and in the NFC, especially considering the rest of the quarterback situation in the NFC. So the next thing we want to move on to is the Nolan Arenado trade. Like I said, I wish I'd stay on these subjects longer, but I'm on a time limit here, so we're going to take care of business real quickly. Nolan Arenado to the Rockies. The Rockies gave up Nolan Arenado, who's only one of the best players in baseball, top 5 players in baseball, like Platinum Glover, one of the best defensive third basemen ever, one of the best third basemen ever, yes, ever, of all time. The numbers he's putting up on the road, at home, it doesn't matter if he's playing in Colorado. Just one of the most fantastic players I've ever seen. Easily top 5 in terms of WAR 2 and analytics. I'm not just saying this. It is all proven fact that he's one of the best players in baseball, top 5. Even for years, the best baseball player of all time with defensive runs saved and OPS plus. And they gave him up for nothing. Nothing. Like, here's my thing is, I don't know every prospect. And they had to give up $51 million too. Which made no sense to me. The Rockies got fleeced here. And I know that there's reports of him not being a fan of the general manager because of the moves he's making. Well, obviously, I mean, there's teams like the Padres with Fernando Tatis that have moved Blake Snell, Yu Darvish. Like, they are moving countless pieces around this generational talent. They know what they have, and he's affordable right now. The Red Sox, when they had Mookie Betts on before he got paid his big contract, they made a bunch of moves to bring people around him. You know, bringing in Price, bringing in Sale. Like, they knew, like, with Bogarts there under a homegrown contract, or Benintendi on a cheaper contract, like, they know that they had to bring even more pieces around because they had a really good shot there. And while they only won World Series in that time, they took advantage of him being affordable, at least before flipping him for prospects, which Duran looks pretty good, by the way. But, besides the point, 50, like, the fact that they had to pay salary to get the money on top of that, like, when I saw the deal, I thought the $51 million was coming from the Cardinals. Like, they paid for him like a soccer transfer, which would have made sense. Would have made sense. But the Cardinals are a strong baseball organization. The Cardinals haven't had a losing season in 15 years. The Cardinals should have a strong farm system, and even if it's not strong, you should be able to take more than what you took. I mean, here's my thing. There are prospects in baseball for use. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Michael Kopech, Eloy Jimenez, Fernando Tatis at the time. Like, there's players that you know. There's top prospects in baseball that you know if you're a baseball fan. You know, Yohan Moncada at the time. Jackie Bradley when he got called up to the Red Sox. Or Mookie Betts when he got called up to the Red Sox. Or Andrew Benintendi when he skipped AAA. There's countless. Flagger Jr. There's countless names that you do know. You do understand. Or Seager or Bellinger. When those guys got called up. Like, there's just, you know the big names. You know the top names. Austin Gomer, Mateo Gil, Elharius Montero, Tony Losi, and Jake Sommers. Before this trade, had you ever heard of those guys? Ever? Because, like, when Moncada got moved, a lot of people knew who Yohan Moncada was. Javi Baez when he got called. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are Anthony Rizzo back then when he got traded for AJ. Like, those were names. Those were legitimate names in the baseball prospect pipeline. None of these guys were. None of these guys were. The deal makes no sense to me. At all. I mean, it's not even like you couldn't pay the guy, because you could. You had him paid, he signed, and he opted in to the contract. And his value should have been higher in the contract. It's not even like he was in a contract year. You're flipping him for 6 months. Like, he's under contract. You can get more for him. And not only do you give him up, you get $50 million. $51 million, whatever it may be. It just hurts my brain. I don't understand. How do you give up one of the best players in baseball and have to give up $50+ million and not get any prospects in return? Or any active players that are really going to make a difference? How? Because now you look at NL Central, it's the Cardinals to lose. The Mets making a move for Lindor, so the Cardinals say, guess what? Here we go. Arenado. And it just hurts my brain that these teams, the Indians' payroll this year is going to look like, what, $40 million? There's just $40 million. I mean, like, I know they're just the owners, but, like, there's just in business and all that, you can make those. You can say that all day long. The A's, business, but, like, it's for a game that's supposed to be growing. For a game you're trying to grow, and you're going to trade your franchise centerpiece away for nothing. For nothing. Because who they get for Lindor either? Nothing. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. For a game you're trying to grow that's dying, the numbers are down, and then you have these teams that are literally just giving away great players. Giving them away to other teams. The rich gets richer. Because you're unwilling to understand what you have there and build around it for a period of time before you can go back to being irrelevant. But no, right in the middle of where you can actually not be irrelevant, where you can be a contender, you decide to be, let's be irrelevant. Just trade them now. I don't know. It's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for me with that stuff in baseball. It really is. The Arenado trade makes no sense to me. Again, stuff behind the scenes sources, yeah, sure. But he's still a great ball player. If he's pissed about you not bringing enough pieces in, how about you bring more pieces in? Trevor Story's pretty good. How about some pitching? In that godforsaken ballpark. How about some people that aren't fly ball pitchers? You know? I mean, there's some good Charlie Blackmon. There's some good players there. Just bring in more pieces. Make more deals. Or just trade them away for nothing and give away $50+ million. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Again, there's got to be some business side of it here that I'm missing. There's got to be something I'm missing here. because there's got to be some source that I don't have, which I don't have any sources. Well, some sources, but not within that realm. There's got to be something I'm missing there because it doesn't make any sense on the surface. It wasn't in the contract or anything. Like, wasn't in the opt-out year. Just, I don't know. Frustrating as a baseball fan because the game's supposed to be growing, and then teams are just in those markets just throwing away, like, with passionate fan bases, just throwing away franchise centerpieces. What am I going to do? You know, not the MLBPA declining the 154 game season with the neutral DH. Nope. Want to go full 162. Like I said, don't have enough time to get into the entire thing because I do want to touch on the Super Bowl now too. Alrighty, so Super Bowl 55, Chiefs-Bucks. They met in Week 12. The Chiefs being 3-point favorites. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers being the first team in history to host a Super Bowl at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Who do we got? For why? I got Mahomes. I got the Chiefs. And again, remember, bookies do give 3 points to the home team, so it really should be -6. I think the spread should be bigger. And here's my math. On why I got Mahomes. I don't want to waste any time here. Why do I have Mahomes in this one? Why do I have the Chiefs? Well, here's the thing: is I think every team that the Buccaneers have played throughout these playoffs have beaten themselves time and time again. Have beaten themselves. I mean, they played the 7-9 Redskins. That's a gimme. It's a gimme. Even if it's on the road, it's a gimme. The Saints beat themselves. The Packers beat themselves. Like, you know, like the Buccaneers have not outplayed anybody yet. They just haven't beat themselves. The other teams have. They've just done less to harm themselves than the team that they're playing. I just haven't seen the Bucs legitimately beat a team yet. Like, outplay a team. Haven't seen it yet. I just haven't seen that level from these guys. And as much respect as I have for Tom Brady and down there, I see Mahomes pulling it out because the Chiefs are a team that don't beat themselves. And even when this team does try to beat themselves, they give teams 24-point head starts. They give teams like big head starts in these games. Doesn't matter. They come back and win them. Playoffs last year, playoffs this year. Like, they can win with Chad Henne. Like, they really have a talented team. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I mean, if you look at Week 12 when they beat them 27-24, they were out to a 17-0 lead, and I really don't think they'll let off the gas like they did in that game. If they get ahead in this, like that in the Super Bowl, and I'm not expecting to get ahead like that in the Super Bowl. Like, this game means a lot to football in general. This game, it might not be, it may or may not be, but it should be talked about for a very long time. These are the two. At the end of the day, by the end of their careers, one's gonna happen sooner than the other. I mean, you hope, right? You assume that Mahomes' career will be over much longer after Tom Brady's, but hey, with Tom Brady, there's absolutely nothing guaranteed. But at the end of the day, when we go to talk about this, it's going to be this very well could be a conversation between the two greatest players to ever grace a football field, ever step on a football field. And I think if Mahomes wins this one, if Mahomes gets in that 4 category, the conversation will take place because he is an absolute gunslinger. He's just the talent there is just undeniable. He's one of those complete quarterbacks that we've seen ever seen. And you can see the interviews of my guy Sean Payton, basically looking like his soul was ripped from his body when the Chiefs traded up to get him. Because we were looking to draft him. Little did I know. But God, how nice would that have been? Sat a year behind Drew Brees and then just turn Patrick Mahomes loose. Depression. Utter depression. Saints just continue to take L's here. Ever since the Super Bowl, there's nothing but L's. But anyways, back to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I got the Chiefs. I take the Chiefs against the spread as well too to win by more than 3. I like like I said, I just don't. Even if they try to beat themselves, I think they're too explosive. I mean, Tyreek Hill had 269 yards and 3 touchdowns in that Week 12 game. And the Bucs secondary feels confident. The Bucs secondary have not really played that well to play. I mean, given the numbers will support that, but I just haven't seen them play that well. I've seen, tipped passes. I've seen a lot of teams beat themselves. I've seen pass interference calls not called and then called to bail the team. I've seen pass interference not called on the Bucs defense when they're making an interception. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Bucs have not sold me at all. But the Chiefs, the way they beat the Bills, sold. And again, I'm one of the guys that I think kind of forgot who the Chiefs were. In terms of just their ability all around, I think I kind of forgot who the Chiefs were. Which is shame on me, because they're an incredibly talented team. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Patrick Mahomes, like they were in Tyrann Mathieu on defense, like Chris Jones on defense. Like they have a legitimate pass rush too with Frank Clark and Chris Jones, a legit pass rush. So it's I just don't see the Chiefs beating themselves this one, and I do not see the Buccaneers flat out just outplaying the Chiefs. I think I'd have to see the Chiefs beat themselves in a sense, and I don't see that happening. I don't. So I'll run through some of the prop bets. The coin toss result, both -101. Heads or tails? Tails. Tails never fails. Go tails. I would definitely go tails for the prop bet. I called the coin toss all through high school, and it was always tails, and I won 6 in a row. Go tails. Will the opening kickoff be a touchback? -220 for yes. No, plus 190. Yes, it will be. -220. I can't wait to go back and look at these and see how wrong I was. What will the first offensive play be? Run play, -120. Pass play or sack? Pass play, plus 100. Gotta be pass play. Will it be a score in the first 5 minutes? Yes or no, both -110. No, there will not be a score in the first 5 minutes. First team to score, Kansas City -130, Tampa Bay plus 110. Kansas City to score first, -130. What will be the first score of the game? Field goal or safety or a touchdown? First score of the game will be a touchdown, -160. So Patrick Mahomes prop bets. Will he throw for over 327.5 yards? Yes, he will throw for over 327. Will he throw for more than 2.5 passing touchdowns? No, he will not. He will throw for under 2.5 passing touchdowns. Will he have over 20.5 completions? I'm taking the under there. I think he had... I don't know. It's a tough one. If he's at 40.5, I'll say he goes over 20.5 completions. And I'd say he goes over 40.5 pass attempts. Does he have over... Well, they're saying, does he throw an interception plus 140 to throw a pick? They're not expecting him to throw an interception instead of the half? Nah, he doesn't throw a pick. Mahomes doesn't throw a pick. He might fumble, but he won't throw a pick. Longest completion over 39.5 yards. That's easy. Take that money. Take the money. He's going to complete a bomb to Tyreek Hill. Like it's given that he's going to go over 39.5 yards. Just give him that. And over 18.5 rushing yards. Yes. -110. Take the over and 18.5 rushing yards. I think he'll have a rushing touchdown, maybe even 2 in this game. So Tyreek Hill prop bets over 6.5 receptions. Yes. Over 91.5 yards. Yeah, this guy had 269 yards and 3 touchdowns in Week 12. Again, you can prepare for as much as you want. You can't prepare for Tyreek Hill like that much. And it's like, I want to prepare for him, that's fine, but he's still just going to blatantly outrun you. And he's going to outplay you into getting him wide the hell open. There is no hope for you to stop this man. Travis Kelce, over 7.5 receptions. I would say no, keep him on the under. He might grab a couple of scores, but I don't think he'll have over 5 catches. I just think like he'll be quiet. I don't know. He'll be quiet. I feel like Kelce will be quiet. But then again, like name me a game that he's going to be quiet in and they're going to play well. So and if I'm taking the win, so retract my words. Over 7.5 catches for Travis. Actually, no. Keep it under. Stay on the under. He can have 7 catches. That's still a good number for Travis Kelce. So 7 catches for Travis Kelce. Take the under at plus 105. So I'm going to try and scroll through to Tom Brady prop bets. Does he have over 296.5 yards passing? Yes, he does. I'll take the over. He'll probably throw for over 300 yards for this game to be talked about for a long time, and I think it will be. He'll probably throw for over 300 yards, and I take that. Does he have over 2.5 passing touchdowns? Yes, I would take the over for passing touchdowns for Tom Brady. Keep the under for Patrick Mahomes. Over 24.5 completions from Tom. He really hasn't completed the ball well, so no. I'm going to say no. That he has under 24.5 completions, which for the passing yards, he's going to have a big play game. But I mean, you have a lot of big play receivers, so it's not like 2 out of the question. Does he have over a half interception? Yeah, he'll throw a pick. He'll throw a pick. I don't think Mahomes will. I think Brady will throw a pick. He has threw 3 last game. Longest completion over 39.5 yards. Yes, I take the over on Tom Brady as well too. I mean, they have some really big play players. Yeah, no, that was a tongue twist. On both these teams, and I would take the over in that for the longest completion as well too for Tom Brady. Rushing yards, over a half yard rushing. You know Tom Brady's going to do the sneak over the top, and that's going to count for yards. Yes, take the over on that. And that's favored. Like, no, both are -1. Nope, that's definitely the dog. They have over a half-yard rushing. I would take it. Tom Brady's gonna scramble at least once this game. Take the over on that. Mike Evans over 4.5 receptions. I'd take the under. Mike Evans is just, even if he does have a big play, he just, I don't know. Never really been. I've been sold on Mike Evans recently, and he's gonna have less than 4 catches. Receiving yards over 16.5. I would take over with less than 4 catches. He might have a big play in this one, but that might be it. So I would take the over, but under 4.5 catches. I know I'm out there. I'm out there for sure. I'm out there. Chris Godwin over 5.5 catches. Absolutely yes. Take the over for Chris Godwin. Over 71.5 receiving yards. Yes, absolutely take the overs for Chris Godwin. Will Leonard Fournette have more than 11.5 rush attempts? No. Take the under on his rush attempts at -125. Will he have more than 47.5 rushing yards? No. He'll stay under 47.5 as well. Receiving yards, will he have over 23.5? Yes. Take the over in his receiving yards. He's been catching the ball out of the backfield well. And yeah, that's about that. I'm gonna take. First touchdown scorer, Travis Kelce -162. It's Tyreek Hill. Fournette's +120. For the first score, Chiefs going to score first. I think to be a touchdown off the bat. I'd say Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's probably going to catch the first touchdown of the game. That's where I'd put my money, is on Travis Kelce for the first score of the game. Will there be a score in the last 3.5 minutes of the fourth quarter? Yes. Yes, there will be, whether it be a garbage time touchdown or one to win the game. Yes, there will be, -250. Which team will score last in the game? I'm probably going to expect it. Oh, by the way, from the Patriots and Tom Brady, from the Bucks, so I'd say yes. So I'd say last score of the game will be a touchdown, and last score of the game will be a QB rush. Will the Chiefs kneel it out, or will they have to come all the way from behind, or will it be No, I don't think so. Because I think it's either going to be the Chiefs having the march back from behind, or Brady having the march back from behind. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's favored. No. We're going to say no. Be bold. Staunch. Alright, I think that's all the time we got. That's all the time we got. What do you think? More total touchdowns in the game. Like, I'm not going to go through the whole list of prop bets. Good God. I can't wait to review all those prop bets and see how I did. Hopefully I just go perfect the whole way through, and I get people some money. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Rufus, signing off.